Welcome back everybody to phase 2 of our above ground pool setup. In our previous video we showed you from start to finish where we were setting the ground, preparing the setup of the pool, and then installing the water. Well, we didn't quite finish. As you can see at the end of the video, you saw the fadeaway of me painting our rocks, but that was because we knew that the job was incomplete. So what we're showing you in this video is the finishing of spraying our rocks, and also, we had a big boo-boo. We did not realize that when we had left to go out of town on an emergency, we had cut the pool pump off and totally forgot to put the cover on it. And in that, we came back to a swamp. That's right, a swamp. Stinky water, nasty green, the worst. Something you wouldn't even dare want your own birds drinking water out of. But anyhow, what we did was we cleaned it up, tore the pool down after we drained all of that water and bleached it out, tore the pool down, had to put more sand because it was not leveled, and then we replaced the pool back in its spot. Now everything is finished and we're able to spend some really nice late summer nights out here in our pool. Let me show you our journey. Okay, so we put this above ground pool in our backyard with the hopes of at least a little bit of low maintenance, even though my reviews that I had read, it informed you that there was quite a bit of work to do and some more money to be spent. But I had no idea that we would run into this situation where we would have to drain the whole pool and start all over from scratch. So this is what we're doing, where we've drained it. It took a long time, so that's why the process has been so much longer than I expected. But we drained the pool and now we're getting ready to start over. But before I do that, I have to clean all the walls. I'm using simple green, a scrub pad. Instead of using the pressure washer because I didn't want to tear into the liner, I'm going to just use my regular water hose and a brush, a long extended brush. But whatever you guys do, before you go purchasing an above ground pool, make sure you know all of the tips, what to do, what not to do. Make sure you're prepared properly. Make sure you're prepared as far as the time, the patience, the finances to keep up with this pool. That's why the in-ground pool, cost more, because they have a system set up, unlike this filter we have here, which we already knew we would need to get a better filter, but this filter we have right here. But anyways, that's why above ground pools, I keep saying that. I wanted an in-ground pool so bad, but my husband said not right now. But that's why the in-ground pools are much less maintenance than one of these, because their system, the pump, the filter, and everything is equipped for the amount of money that it costs. Is equipped to do everything that you wouldn't normally have to do manually with an above ground pool. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Oh, and one thing I forgot to tell you, this will be the first time that I actually will have used this ladder to climb into this pool. I have not gotten into the pool at all since we've had it. So here we go. Okay, so now that we scrubbed the floor, I don't know if you can see really good the difference versus the way it was in the beginning. But also you'll see where, I'm sorry y'all, I'm out of breath. That was a lot of work. But you'll also see where the lining, has started to fold. This was actually like this before we put the water in it. And we tried to even out the liner as much as we could, but we didn't, I guess not enough. So, as I said, what we're going to do is clean this all out. Almost start from scratch as far as the underneath, putting more sand because it was a little uneven as far as the leveling on this side mainly. And I'm a little anal about things being off kilter. So we're going to put more sand. My husband put my sand in there, level it off. Then we'll pour the water back on, all the chemicals, and make sure we straighten this lining out before we, put the water in. But again, before you install any type of above ground pool, some people they have flat land where they can just roll it out and set it up. But we didn't have it in this situation because where we put it on the, on our property. So again, make sure you have everything in place so that you won't have to go and do this all over again, because this takes up time. And again, I say money because there's another water bill going up because it takes a lot of water to fill this up. And then just make sure you have everything that you need before you start. Don't get so anxious and excited that you just put it up and you realize you're going to have to rework the whole thing over again. Clean the pool as much as we could with the brush. Remember this brush here. And y'all, let me tell you something. This thing smells like a swamp. It has been very uncomfortable, water splashing, but I got to get it done. But anyhow, now what we're going to do is vacuum as much water as we can with the shop vac. This is a rigid shop vac. We've had this thing for umpteen years. It's a 16 gallon one, and so I have it propped up on my one of my urns, which is not good. Once this thing starts filling up, we're going to move it, dump it out, and start all over again. But we'll get started with the shop vac and suck up as much water as we can. So we made a lot of progress in this pool, as you see. Got most of it up. Just have a little teeny tiny bit left over here. And again, we were using the shop vac the whole time to suck all this water up. Y'all, I think that I saw a little black and white striped snake. Before I knew it, I had already sucked it in to the shop vac, and there was nothing I could do about it. But I really believe that was a snake. But anyhow, this swamp is cleaned up almost, and we'll get ready to put some water back in it after we level it off and do all those other things. All right, let's finish this clean. And this is the final result of cleaning this nasty, swampy pool. It was really yucky, y'all. Just to have to endure the smell. I mean, I can't believe that we let it get that bad, but not because we were just being lazy, but again, we had gone out of town for almost a week. So as I mentioned, we're on the second round of leveling this pool, and we've had to empty the pool out. We've also had to clean it really, really good, bleach it and sanitize it. And what we're about to do is actually, the four of us will be lifting the pool up and moving it so that tomorrow we can put the sand down and level it. I showed you in the video earlier where one side was a little uneven, so my husband had to go back and get more sand. with our pool. So she just kind of put it to the side so we can redo everything over and prepare for a nice summer in our pool. I'm going to attempt to talk over the lawnmower because my husband and my son are over there trying to unload all that sand and put it in the back of the wagon connected to the riding mower. But anyhow, you'll see right here where all that dirt has built up. Just trying to give you some tips. What I failed to do was take the ground cover and extend it past where the pool was. Instead, I tucked it up underneath the pool, which caused the dirt in that area to, when it's raining, to kind of brush up against the pool. This is what we do not want. This is what we do not want. I thought I saw something moving. I'm paranoid, y'all, because it's been wet out here. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and clean this off so that when we put it back tomorrow, we'll be good to go. And this is our spot again. And you can see right here, clear as day. Now, the rain didn't brush this sand away. It's just obvious that we did not level this entire circle good enough. So you'll see where there's sand all the way over there. And right when you come to this side, to the right of it, this is where the pool was leaning a little bit. There was not enough sand. But we're about to fix this so that we can utilize our pool properly and enjoy the rest of the hot summer days. These are the guys over here loading it up. Daddy had to go back and get another load of sand. Where we pool is all cleaned out, put back in its place. Rocks have been taken out, and now we're going to start loading it up with some water. Okay, so the rocks and the table are out. And ding, 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 ding. We've got water again for the second time. Y'all, I don't even know. I can't even remember how many hours it took us to fill this tank up the last time, because we did it through the night. And my husband was even getting up in the middle of the night to making sure that the liner stayed straight and that the legs were straight. But anyway, we're going to see how many hours it takes to fill it up. And then I'll put that in my final video. This is the Summer Waves 16 by 48. 16 by 48 is the dark basket weave one. I love the pool, but it wasn't the color that I thought. For some reason I thought it was a little darker, and it's not. But the perfect thing about it is that it actually matches our shed and the paint on our house. So this came out perfectly. Like I said, it wasn't the exact color that I wanted, but if you look at the pool and a quick look of my shed over there, actually that's my husband and I, that's our he-she shed that we're working on. Guess what, y'all? We got some water. It's almost, well, it's about halfway done. I don't know about how many more hours we have, but we started at about 12:30 today. And what time is it? Started at 12:30, filling it up Eastern time, and it's 7:09. I don't know how many more hours, but that's a long time just to be halfway through. But anyway, well, a little more than halfway filled. So we got the water in, and what we're about to do now is move these rocks that I had bordering around it so that we could put down some ground cover to keep those weeds away. Because I do plan on putting mulch and a few flowers. I don't want too many flowers that are close, that'll end up growing close to the pool. We'll just mainly work with the ones that are in these urns right here. But this is what we're using. This is some old ground cover that we pulled up from back here, because it just kept moving around, so we pulled it up. So I'm gonna use this. Recycle, remember, use what's in your hands, stay on a budget. Everything doesn't have to be bought at store price. So again, when I pulled it up, I made sure I stored it in this big old trash bag because I knew I would need it again for something. Didn't know it would be for the pool. But I'm gonna use this ground cover. It's dirty, yucky, but who cares? And put it around the pool to keep the weeds, again, to keep the weeds and everything else from growing up into my mulch and my flower bed. So the pool is finally completed with setup, water, rocks painted. Well, we do have a few more rocks we have to paint, and the mulch put down along with a few flowers. So this is our pool. This was one of the flagstones that we were using for stepping stones to go to our gazebo, but I needed something for the children to step down onto instead of that mulch. Now you'll see here where I need to cut the extra pieces that are hanging off of the ground cover, but almost completed. These are a few accent stones that we have, and these rocks right here were actually used for drainage on the side of the ditch in front of our home, but I spray painted them black. Just wanted to bring them all the way around. Add a few lights that we got from Sam's. Now back here I left a small entrance for us to be able to walk through to get to the pump and the cord, but I'm gonna have to cover that because if I don't, then this mulch will run out into this the rest of the yard, and this is where the pine needle is about to go, so I don't want the two to mix together. These are a few flowers I had in the front that I took and brought back here. Now as you see, you'll see where I still need to paint these ones in the back and put down probably about 2 more bags of mulch, but other than that, everything is ready to go. Here's some more that I need to paint. Here we have 2 plants on each side of the tree, 2 impatiens actually. This is a hosta right here. There's another accent rock, and then of course you see where I need to add more mulch there. This is a pool that we have. It's a 16 by 48. This is the right side of our pool. And so we have our water in it. The children have been in it today. And we're just happy that we finally got it going. This is our sign we have on that tree over here. And so as soon as we get this pine needle down, everything will be straight. So welcome to our pool. It's finally done. After 2 setups, extra digging and everything. This is our space. So this is the 2x6x8 board that we'll be using for our towel hook. My husband's actually screwing those in because that's where our light will go. That's a good little light, cute little light that we got from Sam's a long time ago. It's actually a solar light. So we have two basins that I purchased from the Dollar Tree for $1. We have a square, we have our pencil, and we have this palette that what we're going to do is make a foot washing station with. We also have a few tools, straight edge, circular saw, and we'll be using a reciprocator saw too. My husband is attempting to fit the basins down in the holes so we'll know exactly where to cut. Now, I'm not one that's good with these type of tools, but he's going to put me to the test today. So he's made the straight edge lines so that he can cut the ends off of this palette. Now this is one of the most creative projects I've ever done. Usually when I'm doing certain things, I'll try to handle it by myself. But when it comes to saws and chains and axes and all that kind of stuff, your girl is not good with that. So he's cut one side of the palette. And he's about to make some lines to cut the other side. Now this is where I do a little bit of experimenting myself. Never had one of those things in my hand besides to pass it to him. But we're going to cut some lines today. Now what you see here is the back side of the palette, which will be the part that will be facing the ground. Here we go. Now I started off really, really good. But before, why is his finger in the picture? I started off really, really good, but before I knew it, I was way off course. Y'all, I was getting excited. I just kept on going. Now, in the video, I didn't want to embarrass myself, so he just went on and fixed everything that I messed up. Now, this is where he's using his reciprocating saw to detach the rest of the parts of the palette. Now, some of these parts that he's detaching, and you'll see in a minute on the ends, he'll still need those boards, pieces of those boards, to close in the right and left side of the foot washing station. One more cut, and he should be finished. Now that's reciprocating saw, y'all. It works good, but this is fresh wood. This palette, I don't know, it was a little bit challenging to cut. So he's gotten the pieces detached from each other. This is where he was having a hard time. Now there was an easier way that he could have done this, but we just worked with what we had. We had that crowbar, and he kept saying, Donna, go get the hammer, I didn't want to move. I just wanted to hurry up and get it done. And a lot of times I have to be patient with different projects that I'm not used to doing. It takes time, and if you don't get the right thing, you're going to be struggling. And he kept telling me, this is not even necessary. But I was like, just hit it one more time. It's almost off. Y'all, it took a while. Finally, I went and got the right tool for him, and it was completed. So all those pieces you see there, some of those will be scrap pieces, but some, like that little piece right there, that's going to go on each end, well, the right and the left end of the palette of the foot washing station. So he's brought it in, and he had to use the air compressor to charge up his tool. But see how he's closing those in on the ends? He just has to screw them now. This part didn't take long at all, but my husband likes everything to be really precise. So he's got one end he's push it in, and then he's going to go ahead and screw those in to secure them. Now, I didn't have to put an end cap on both sides, but I did it because I did not want those tubs. I didn't want anything else kind of, seeping in on each side of the tub. Now, the tubs are going to be glued down, so they're not going to move. But I also thought that if he added those end pieces, I don't know, it kind of dressed it up a little. So there we go. He's going to make sure he screws both sides so that everything is secure properly. And he's using an air gun for this, or nail gun, I guess it is. Y'all, I told you I don't know nothing about no tools. Now, I told him that this fall, I'm going to get in there. I want my own tools. I want some pink tools. Okay, everything is secured now, and he's fitting the tubs down in, the basin tubs down in. Now, if you notice the way he pushed them down in, it was already tight. So it doesn't have to be glued, but again, I want to. My husband, he doesn't like a mess, so he's cleaning up all those fine pieces of wood. I was just pointing to show you guys the two bases that we're using. But he's getting all those scrap pieces of wood because believe it or not, you could easily get a splinter if you're not careful. So that's the top part. Top part completed. Remember, this was a pallet. End caps on, screwed properly. And this is the back of the pallet. You'll see later where I'll stain this wood, but not the back. As a matter of fact, here we go. So I'm staining this with some leftover stain that the builders had from our home. These are actually the color of our shutters. And I had refused to go out and buy any type of paint, whether it be spray or brush on. And you know me, I'm going to use what I already have and what's in my hands. Ain't nobody got time to be spending no extra money. Ain't nobody have no money to be spending no extra money. So we just use this. Now, I'm attempting to stain or paint as much as I can, but the part on the inside where the basins are going to fit in, it wasn't necessary to stain that part. So I don't want you to think I did a halfway job, but just to speed up the process, I just stained only the parts that you would be able to see when looking at it. Y'all, I'm sorry, I'm all bent over. You can't really tell unless you're actually in person, but this stain is so pretty. It almost looks like a brown wood. Close to like a cherry, I guess you call it like a cherry wood. But again, in this video, you cannot tell. You don't really see the true colors of it. Now, earlier in my video, I did show you where the color of my, me and my husband's, were sharing a he-she shed out there. So this is the same stain, actually is a paint on that, but I'm going to add this stain to it. So I'm trying to use all these colors to kind of blend in with everything that's here. So right here, we have the two basins. Now I'm supposed to be screwing in some little holes so that the water can drain once we put the rocks in and the water to clean our feet off after we've come out of the pool. But I tore that whole thing up. Now, because I've already paid for it, I'm going to use it. Here are the egg rocks that we will be using. I chose these because they're much bigger. They're kind of like a smooth edge and then smooth on the top, so that when you're placing your feet inside those tubs, you won't have any hard rocks sticking into the bottom of your feet. So we're going to fill up the tubs with the rocks. I was trying to mainly get the bigger ones. But there was a few little ones that got in there. Had to get my scooper because those things were pretty hard on my hands. Now you'll see where it's pretty full. I try to even it out. Again, remember those holes are in the bottom of those basins. So what I did was I went back to Dollar Tree and doubled the basins. So I kept these ones and I doubled. We're rinsing these rocks off now because it comes with a lot of dust and things like that. The holes are in the bottom, remember, so it's going to drain out. Now here's my foot washing station. The final product. Basins placed in. We're pretending we're using our feet. 2 flip-flops and we'll just rinse off. Once they've rinsed off, the flip-flops won't be in there. Once they've rinsed off, then they can put their feet into the flip-flops. This is to keep all of that dirt and grass and mud from tracking inside of my house and onto my patio. Now here, this was something else I wanted to add. It's almost like an accessory station. And these are different items that I brought from Walmart. Some are used, but these towels were only $4.88 a piece. Those goggles are used. That towel is used. These pool caps, there are some old towels of ours. Bubbles. Some Dollar Tree flip-flops. And some $1 floaties from Walmart. Now here you'll see a couple of floaties that we bought. Now these have been in our garage for about 3 years, honestly. So even though you see those prices there, they were still another 50% off. And they were in our garage, just stored there because I knew eventually I thought we were going to get an in-ground pool. So what I'm doing is I'm placing these items here. Now it's just our family. But once this virus is over, the plan is to have other friends over. And I was trying to buy the flip-flops and things like that before the summer season items are all gone. Again, some of these and most of these are recycled. Trying to get everything in there neat. And voila. Here's our pool station. One day when we have friends over, they'll be able to help themselves. There's some water balloons, bubbles for the little ones. Once we are able to have company again. Old recycled towels, still in good condition, and some Dollar Tree flip-flops. And there you go. Oh, I did add this bag just to add in a few of those glow sticks. All done. Welcome to our pool house. Hey, Mommy. Oh, there's my little mermaid. So now you've gone along our journey with our above ground pool setup, phase 1 and phase 2, and you've seen the ups and the downs of this. But in the end, it was well worth it. I want to make mention to you about the Summer Waves pool that we have. It's a 16 by 48. Is the Elite Basket Weave, and several companies sell it, but we for sure got ours from Walmart.com. They've been out of stock because we bought it back in April, and they've been out of stock ever since then. So you can keep your eye out. They might bring them back, and it might even go on sale. But again, it's the Summer Waves Elite Basket Weave above ground pool, 16 by 48.